if you need to rip out a few rows of your work, it's really not as scary as it seems. I'm going to move through this slowly and give you some tips as well. And if this makes you nervous or you have a lot to rip out, you might want to check out my series on placing lifelines, and I can add a link to that playlist in the description. So let's say I made a mistake somewhere down here, and I want to rip back just that amount of work to fix it. What you have to do is take out your needle from your stitches, and then we're going to tug slowly on our working yarn and just rip out each row one at a time. And you actually don't have to go that slowly until you get to like the final row. Okay, so let's say I want to do one more row, and I want to show you this final stitch. So that's the second to last stitch. Now we're going to pull out this final one. Okay, so do you see how the yarn is about to come loose from this stitch? That's actually, this stitch, this big one, is not actually the one that we want to pick up. I've just pulled this one loose. This is the stitch that goes with this row. And it's very easy to solve. All you have to do is pick it back up and pull it through with your needle. So it's a little bit wonky looking, but that's okay. Okay, now grab a needle that is, I would say, a couple sizes smaller than the one you were just knitting with. And if it has a stopper, make sure that you are pointing the tip towards your working yarn. So I would start over here and go towards my working yarn. And that way, when you're ready to knit, the tip is right there instead of here. But I use double pointed needles and circular needles a lot, and if you do that, you can start from whatever side. Okay, so let's start putting them back on, and I'm just gonna tell you this now, it doesn't matter which way you go into the stitch. If you really want to put them on the correct way, then the right leg of the stitch should drape over the front of the needle. But I think just get them back on. And it's actually, I think, easier to put them back on twisted. And it's an easy fix when we're done to untwist them. And I'll show you all these things. You might also drop a stitch, and I can show you how to fix that. Okay, so we're coming up to this last weird stitch, and you want to put the piece that's connected to the working yarn back on the needle. So this stitch, it's hard to see, but this stitch is not, if you tug on it, it does not move this, but this piece, you can see it, you can make it huge, and that is the one that we want to put back on there. Stay tuned to the end. If you dropped a stitch, I will show you how to fix that. Okay, now we're ready to knit again. Grab your regular size needle, and you can just start knitting again. And you see I have put a lot of these stitches on the wrong way. This one's twisted, you can tell, because the right leg is back here sticking out where it should be sort of behind the one that's on the front of the needle. Okay, so here's how you purl through the back loop. So you go underneath this back leg, and then you just purl like normal. If you have twisted knit stitches, you also knit through the back loop. Okay, what if one of your stitches drops? Because as you're going along, you're kind of pulling the yarn and they come free from the stitches. So just go ahead and grab a crochet hook and stick it into the stitch that has fallen off. And you'll see in the back, there's a bar right here. Just grab it with the crochet hook and bring it through. And then we can place it back on the needle. And it's really common as you're doing this too for them to just start popping out one after another. So as you're doing it, just kind of hold the stitch next to it. This yarn's really splitty. Just kind of hold the stitch next to it. Try to keep it from popping out. There we go.